12 black celebrities who owned the strangest pets. What would happen if the most powerful, famous, and wealthiest people on Earth, champions, icons, billionaire names, secretly shared a home with creatures that could kill them? Not figuratively, literally. A 570-pound Bengal tiger sleeping next to a heavyweight boxing champion. A 400-pound python waking an NBA legend with its tongue. A chimpanzee outliving the king of pop, currently still alive in Florida. This isn't a rumor. Every story you are about to hear is documented, verified, and stranger than anything a screenwriter could imagine. 12 black celebrities. 12 unexpected animals, and at least 3 cases ending in court, lawsuits, or handcuffs. Before we begin, which celebrity do you think made the most irresponsible choice?
It is an honor to be here tonight celebrating the very best in global excellence.
And if you want the truth, the
we have
mainstream
one more
media
very
hides.
special award to present.
Hidden Celebrity
It is an
Stories
honor
is
to be
the
here
only
tonight
place you
celebrating
need to
the
be.
very best
Hit
in global
subscribe.
excellence.
We are just
We have
getting
one more
started.
very special award to present.
Mike Tyson. June 30th, 1966. Brooklyn, New York. Poor neighborhoods, dangerous streets, and a young boy named Michael Gerard Tyson growing up in a fighting environment before stepping into a boxing gym. At 20, he became the youngest heavyweight champion in boxing history. By his early 30s, he had earned over $430 million in career purses, and amid all that money and power, he decided that normal pets weren't enough. Tyson bought 3 Bengal tigers, named Kenya, Storm, and Baja, which he later admitted on his Hotboxin' podcast were purchased on the black market. Each tiger cub cost between $50,000 and $70,000. Kenya, his favorite tiger, was kept for 16 years. At her peak, she weighed up to 570 pounds. Tyson described walking next to her just like how other men walk their dogs. The annual upkeep cost for all 3 animals was staggering. Feeding them cost about $200,000 a year. Hiring professional trainers cost another $125,000, and insurance ran over $100,000 more, totaling over $325,000 annually just to keep these 3 apex predators alive on his property. These animals roamed his estates in Ohio and Las Vegas. They appeared with him in the 2009 comedy The Hangover, which grossed $467 million worldwide. Then came the incident that Tyson himself recounted in many interviews. A woman climbed over his fence to get close to Kenya. The tiger attacked her, severely biting her arm. Tyson settled the lawsuit for $250,000. As laws regarding the private ownership of endangered animals tightened across the United States, authorities made continued ownership untenable. Ultimately, the tigers were surrendered. Years later, when asked about it on the Joe Rogan Experience, Tyson said something hitting harder than any punch. Wild animals should never be considered property. The baddest man on the planet had finally met something that couldn't be owned, dominated, or controlled, and it completely humbled him. Michael Jackson. August 29th, 1958. Gary, Indiana. The 8th child in a family of 10 living in a cramped 2-bedroom house on Jackson Street. When Michael Joseph Jackson was just 5 years old, he performed on stage. By age 25, he released Thriller, still the best-selling album in recording history, with certified sales exceeding 70 million copies. Fame at that level creates a bizarre isolation. In a 2003 documentary with journalist Martin Bashir, Jackson candidly explained it. He couldn't form genuine relationships with people because everyone he met already had their own agenda. Animals, he said, were never like that. This context is essential to understanding Bubbles. Jackson rescued this chimpanzee from a biomedical research lab in Texas in the early 1980s when the animal was very young. Bubbles wasn't kept in a cage. He lived in the family home, and then later at the Neverland Ranch, slept in a crib in Jackson's bedroom, ate candy in the private movie theater, and used Jackson's toilet. During the 1987 Bad World Tour, Bubbles shared a 2-bedroom hotel suite with Jackson in Tokyo. The two visited the mayor of Osaka, Yasushi Oshima, the first time an animal was allowed inside City Hall, where Bubbles sipped Japanese green tea while sitting obediently next to his owner. At lawyer John Branca's wedding that same year, Bubbles attended wearing a custom-tailored tuxedo. Quincy Jones personally commented on the chimp's appearance. By 2003, Bubbles had matured into a 170-pound adult male with adult strength and unpredictable behavior. Jackson moved him to Bob Dunn's training compound in California. When Dunn's facility closed in 2004, Bubbles was transferred to the Center for Great Apes in Wakulla, Florida, where he has lived from 2005 to the present. His current annual care costs are around $30,000, fully funded by the Jackson family. In April 2026, the Michael Jackson biographical film strictly used CGI to recreate Bubbles in order to respect the peace and privacy of the real animal. Today, at 43 years old, he paints abstract art and turns his back whenever he sees a camera. Floyd Mayweather. February 24, 1977. Grand Rapids, Michigan. Floyd Joy Sinclair was born into a boxing family. His father was a welterweight contender. His uncle Roger was a 2-weight world champion, and his uncle Jeff held the super featherweight title. He dropped out of Ottawa Hills High School to train full-time, won a bronze medal at the 1996 Atlanta Olympics in the featherweight division, and spent the next 2 decades building the most financially successful boxing career in the sport's history. His professional record is 50 wins and 0 losses. His total career earnings have exceeded $1.1 billion, making him one of 11 athletes in any sport with career earnings crossing the 10-figure threshold. In December 2015, Mayweather posted a photo on Instagram that had nothing to do with boxing. The picture showed him inside his Las Vegas mansion, holding the leash of a 2-month-old female Bengal tiger he received as a Christmas gift from his team members in Russia. He asked his followers to help name her. The response wasn't what he expected. Just hours later, PETA issued an official statement demanding the animal be moved to an accredited facility. Big Cat Rescue, a prominent sanctuary in Florida, publicly condemned the act on Facebook, writing that no private residence, regardless of how wealthy the owner is an appropriate environment for an endangered apex predator. Bengal tigers are listed by the IUCN as an endangered species, with the global wild population estimated at under 2,500 individuals. Wildlife biologists noted that tigers in the wild require territories spanning dozens of square miles, not the size of a mansion. By 2017, the photos surfaced showing Mayweather being dragged across the floor of a hotel event by that same tiger, which was now significantly larger and stronger. Subsequent reports confirmed the animal was transferred to a licensed wildlife conservation facility. The undefeated champion, whose entire career was built on absolute control over every element in the ring, had met a challenger that his $1.1 billion couldn't neutralize. Shaquille O'Neal. March 6, 1972. Newark, New Jersey. Shaquille Rashawn O'Neal grew up moving between military bases, eventually attending Cole High School in San Antonio, Texas, where he was 6'8" at just 13 years old and still growing. He was selected number 1 overall in the 1992 NBA Draft by the Orlando Magic. Over his 19 seasons, he won 4 NBA championships, made 15 All-Star appearances, won 3 consecutive NBA Finals MVP awards with the Los Angeles Lakers from 2000 to 2002, and scored 28,596 career points, ranking 7th on the NBA's all-time scoring list. He retired in 2011 and was inducted into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame in 2016. All of that doesn't explain the 800-pound fish tank. For his mansion in Windermere, Florida, a 31,000-square-foot estate with a 6,000-square-foot indoor basketball court, so once listed for $28 million, Shaq commissioned a fully custom triangular aquarium through Animal Planet's show Tanked, built by Acrylic Tank Manufacturing. The tank holds 800 gallons of saltwater and weighs 8,000 pounds. Its front is carved with Egyptian hieroglyphs, not decorative hieroglyphs, but carefully selected symbols representing each of O'Neill's career nicknames: the Diesel, the Big Aristotle, the Big Shamrock, Superman, the Black Tornado. The aquarium was built to house a bumblebee grouper, a species that can grow up to 8 feet long and weigh 800 pounds, which had been waiting in ATM's Las Vegas facility for 7 years before being shipped to Orlando International Airport for installation. Previously, O'Neill had a custom-built aquarium placed inside the truck cabin at a former residence, with fish like a dragon eel, ice clown triggerfish, and Mappa pufferfish inside the chassis of a real 18-wheeler truck. He has appeared multiple times on the show Tanked at various homes. This contrast never gets boring. The most physically dominant center in NBA history, quietly captivated by a single giant fish suspended behind 8,000 pounds of acrylic and steel. Chris Brown. May 5, 1989. Tappahannock, Virginia. Christopher Maurice Brown taught himself to sing and dance from a young age, won a local talent show at 11, and signed with Jive Records at age 15. His debut single, Run It, hit number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart in 2005, making him the first artist since Diddy in 1997 to have his debut single top the US chart. Over the next 2 decades, he released 11 studio albums, sold over 140 million records worldwide, and in February 2025, he won his 2nd Grammy Award. Best R&B Album for 1111 at the 67th Grammy Awards. By every commercial metric, he is ranked among the most successful R&B artists of his generation. In December 2017, Brown bought a baby capuchin monkey for $12,650 from a Florida exotic animal breeder named Jimmy Wayne Hammonds, owner of the Monkey Whisperer Ranch in Parrish, Florida. He named the monkey Fiji and gifted it to his 3-year-old daughter, Royalty. Soon after, Brown posted a video to his Instagram account, which had 44 million followers at the time, showing Royalty cuddling the tiny clothed monkey. The video went viral in just hours. PETA saw it immediately and filed an official complaint with the California Department of Fish and Wildlife. Under California state law, capuchin monkeys are a restricted species. Private ownership requires an official permit issued through the state's formal application process. Brown did not have such a permit. In January 2018, CDFW agents executed a search warrant at Brown's private residence in Los Angeles. Fiji was confiscated and moved to a licensed animal sanctuary. In December 2018, the Los Angeles City Attorney's Office filed a lawsuit against Brown with 2 counts of violating the law, possessing a restricted exotic animal without a permit, each carrying a maximum sentence of 6 months in jail. In December 2019, A judge in Los Angeles offered Brown a way out through a formal diversion program, provided he met 4 strict conditions: permanently surrender all legal rights to Fiji, pay $35,000 directly to the facility housing it, submit to unannounced searches to confirm he didn't possess any other prohibited species, and commit no further legal violations before June 2020. Brown met every condition. The charges were later dropped. The seller faced separate legal consequences on the federal level. Jimmy Hammonds pleaded guilty to conspiracy and 3 counts of violating the Endangered Species Act. A federal judge in Tampa sentenced him to 5 years of probation and required him to pay a $90,000 fine into a U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service fund. Court records revealed that Hammonds also illegally sold rare cotton-top tamarins to buyers across Alabama, South Carolina, and Wisconsin. The transaction began with a $12,650 purchase and an Instagram post that led to 2 separate criminal cases in 2 different states. Fiji is now believed to be living in a professionally cared-for sanctuary. Brown is permanently banned from owning any restricted primate species. This lesson cost him $35,000 and a year of facing the law. However, the real price paid was by an animal that had no choice in any of it. Tracy Morgan. November 10, 1968, Brooklyn, New York. Tracy Jamal Morgan grew up in the Tompkins Houses public housing project, performed comedy at open mic nights across New York City in his 20s, and joined Saturday Night Live as a cast member in 1996, a role he held until 2003. His role on 30 Rock from 2006 to 2013 earned him 2 Emmy nominations. On June 7, 2014, a Walmart tractor trailer traveling at 65 miles per hour rear-ended his limousine on the New Jersey Turnpike. Morgan suffered a severe traumatic brain injury and multiple broken bones. His companion, James McNair, was killed. Morgan underwent months of physical rehabilitation. What emerged afterward was a man who had, years prior, introduced the world to something extraordinary. In August 2012, he posted a photo to Twitter with the simple caption, "Me and my octopus at home," showing him standing next to a massive saltwater tank containing a giant Pacific octopus he named Boyadet. He described Boyadet as being as smart as a dolphin, which sounds surprisingly scientifically sound. The giant Pacific octopus demonstrates problem-solving skills, spatial memory, and the ability to recognize distinct human personalities, placing them among the most cognitively complex invertebrates documented by marine biologists. Later, Morgan appeared on Animal Planet's Tanked to request a custom enclosure built for Boyadet. Next, driven by a childhood fascination with Steven Spielberg's Jaws, he commissioned a private $400,000 shark tank, 2,700 gallons, 50 tons, dropped directly into his New Jersey mansion and visible from the basement. The tank housed 7 live sharks, white-tip reef sharks, black-tip reef sharks, and 3 Japanese leopard sharks, each purchased for between $65,000 and $80,000. His at-home aquatic system holds an estimated total capacity of 20,000 gallons spread across multiple tanks. In 2025, Morgan appeared in the 2-part Amazon Prime documentary titled Octopus. An advocate for cephalopod intelligence, the man who nearly lost everything in 2014 found something to cherish in an 8-tentacled creature the rest of the world had never thought to love. Ice-T. February 16, 1958. Newark, New Jersey. Tracy Lauren Marrow lost his mother to a heart attack when he was just 8 years old. His father passed away for the same reason when he was 12. He was sent to live with an aunt in Inglewood, California, attended Crenshaw High School in South Central Los Angeles, served 4 years in the U.S. Army, and returned to the streets before discovering hip-hop as a medium to express everything he had witnessed and experienced. His 1986 track, 6 in the Mornin', is widely regarded by music historians as one of the earliest documented examples of West Coast gangsta rap. Born 2 years before NWA's Straight Outta Compton, he signed with Sire Records in 1987. His debut album, Rhyme Pays, that same year, was the first hip-hop album to carry an explicit content warning label. In 1992, his heavy metal band Body Count released the song Cop Killer, a track so politically controversial that then-President George H.W. Bush publicly condemned it, and Charlton Heston read its lyrics aloud at a Time Warner shareholders meeting. Ice-T requested the song be pulled from the album under pressure from the record label. In 2000, he was cast as Detective Odafin Finn Tutuola on Law & Order, Special Victims Unit, a role he has held for over 500 episodes, becoming one of the longest-running actors in the franchise's entire history. The irony that the man who wrote Cop Killer became one of television's most famous detectives is profound. And at his home in North Bergen, New Jersey, he keeps sharks. Ice-T and his wife, Coco Austin, commissioned a custom 300-gallon marine aquarium from City Aquarium, housing live sharks alongside exotic saltwater creatures. He has since upgraded to a massive live coral reef tank, becoming the centerpiece of the living room, an aquarium he showcased as his Zoom background during the COVID-19 pandemic in a virtual appearance on Live with Kelly and Ryan. "I've had aquariums my whole life," he told the hosts. Guests arriving expecting intimidation instead find tranquility. That tension between image and reality has defined Ice-T's entire career. DMX. December 18, 1970. Mount Vernon, New York. Earl Simmons grew up in the School Street housing projects in Yonkers, where, by his own account, he was forced to fend for himself from a young age, stealing to survive, bouncing through group foster homes, and finding his voice in rap music while incarcerated as a teenager. He became DMX, Dark Man X. His 1998 debut album, It's Dark and Hell is Hot, topped the Billboard 200 chart and sold over 5 million copies in the US alone. He immediately released his second album that same year, Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood, which also debuted at number 1, making him the first rapper in history to achieve that feat. His next 3 studio albums, And Then There Was X, 1999, The Great Depression, 2001, and Grand Champ, 2003, all debuted at number 1. No rapper before or since him has had 5 consecutive studio albums top the Billboard 200 chart. His total worldwide record sales throughout his career exceed 74 million. Alongside all of that, from his early years, DMX formed an intense bond with pit bulls. He spoke of the breed with a deep emotional resonance he rarely offered to anything else. He had a tattoo on his back, a portrait of one of his deceased dogs, bearing the words, "One Love Boomer." He described pit bulls as creatures defined by loyalty, resilience, and survival instincts that mirrored himself. In August 2007, sheriff's deputies from the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office raided his Arizona estate after receiving reports of animal neglect. They found 16 pit bulls. They excavated the remains of 3 others buried on the property. DMX was indicted on multiple charges including animal cruelty, dog fighting, and drug possession. Legal consequences followed across multiple counts. He passed away on April 9, 2021, due to cardiac arrest at a hospital in White Plains, New York. He was 50 years old. Whatever contradictions defined his relationship with animals, and there were many, they couldn't be separated from the man himself. The raw talent, the real pain, and a capacity for love that arrived side by side with a capacity for destruction. Taiga. November 19th, 1989. Compton, California. Michael Ray Nguyen Stevenson grew up in a Vietnamese Jamaican household in one of the most notorious neighborhoods of Los Angeles County. He moved to neighboring Gardena at 11 and launched his rap career through his connection with his cousin, Travie McCoy, frontman of the group Gym Class Heroes. He signed with Lil Wayne's Young Money Entertainment in 2008. His major label debut album, Careless World, Rise of the Last King, peaked at number 4 on the Billboard 200 in 2012, achieved platinum certification, and featured the top 40 single, Rack City. His 2018 single, Taste, featuring Offset, hit number 8 on the Billboard Hot 100. His stage name, Taiga, is an acronym he later explained stands for Thank You God Always. In early 2014, he began posting photos on Instagram showing himself posing with a Bengal tiger cub in the recording studio on the hood of a Rolls-Royce inside his Calabasas home. The cub was acquired in March 2014 through a middleman named Nicholas Lee Bishop, who allegedly used a fake identity and forged documents to buy the animal from an Indiana tiger breeder, then transported it to Nevada before Taiga drove it into California, according to court records later reviewed by the South Florida Sun-Sentinel. On April 19, 2014, the California Department of Fish and Wildlife received an anonymous tip. Agents showed up at Taiga's Calabasas home. The tiger was gone. After 7 hours of surveillance, Taiga returned home and revealed that he had surrendered the cub, then 7 months old and weighing about 100 pounds, to a private rescue center in Ventura County earlier that same day. Wildlife authorities confiscated the animal and transferred it to the Lions, Tigers, and Bears Sanctuary in Alpine, California. The cub was named Maverick. According to the most recent reports, Maverick weighs over 400 pounds. His annual food bill alone exceeds $10,000. Bobby Brink, the founder of Lions, Tigers, and Bears, publicly stated that Taiga has never contributed financially to Maverick's care since the tiger arrived here. The Rolls-Royce is still there. Maverick is still well fed. Big Boy. February 1st, 1975. Savannah, Georgia. Antoine Andre Patton moved to Atlanta as a teenager, attended Tri-Cities High School, and put Andre Benjamin, later known as Andre 3000, in line at the cafeteria. They formed Outkast and signed with Layface Records in 1992. The album Southern Playalistic Idyllic Music debuted in 1994, At Lions in 1996, Aquamini in 1998, Stankonia in 2000, and then Speakerbox / The Love Below in 2003, a double album that won the Grammy for Album of the Year in 2004 and spawned the song Hey Ya, one of the most played tracks in digital streaming history. Big Boy has maintained Pitfall Kennels, a licensed breeding and rescue facility for pit bulls and French bulldogs on a 25-acre estate in South Atlanta for over 20 years. He used to keep sharks in his personal aquarium. He also owned Persian cats. In 2018, his assistant Shay introduced him to Roy Lau, a licensed exotic animal trainer in Georgia who introduced Big Boy to Eurasian eagle owls. He was immediately captivated. He currently owns 4: Hootie Hoo, Shudini, Simon, and Tula. He holds an official state falconry permit and is building a licensed permanent habitat at his 40-acre Georgia ranch, although under federal and Georgia state law, the owls must officially live with trainer Lau and only visit under supervision. In September 2022, Big Boy posted a video from inside his Stankonia recording studio in Atlanta, where classics like Aquamini were recorded, showing Hootie Hoo spreading its wings on command while sound mixing equipment glowed behind them. The video went globally viral overnight. In a 2025 cover story for Atlanta magazine, Big Boy explained that Eurasian eagle owls can live up to 70 years in captivity, meaning his birds could very well outlive him. He keeps a dedicated freezer full of dead mice to feed them. His wife's opinion of the freezer has been well documented. The owls themselves remain entirely unbothered by it. Dwight Howard. December 8, 1985. Atlanta, Georgia. Dwight David Howard attended Southwest Atlanta Christian Academy, where he averaged 25 points, 18 rebounds, and 8.1 blocks per game in his senior year, leading the team to a 31-2 record and the 2004 Georgia State Championship. He skipped college and entered the 2004 NBA Draft, where he was selected number 1 overall by the Orlando Magic, the third player in history to be selected number 1 straight out of high school. Over 18 seasons, he was an 8-time All-Star, won NBA Defensive Player of the Year in 3 consecutive seasons from 2009 to 2011, led the league in rebounds per game 5 times, and won the 2008 Slam Dunk Contest while dressed as Superman. He won his only NBA championship with the Los Angeles Lakers in 2020, but he was inducted into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame in 2025. Additionally, during his time with the Houston Rockets, he owned exactly 20 pet snakes. A massive 2015 feature article on Bleacher Report confirmed this in detail. Among the 20 animals were 2 boa constrictors named Mickey and Minnie, a yellow reticulated python named George, and 17 others kept in various individual enclosures throughout his house. Howard hired a private herpetologist named Brian Farley, whose sole job was to clean the enclosures, feed the animals rats, and regularly handle them to maintain human interaction. Reticulated pythons, the species George belongs to, can grow up to 20 feet long and weigh several hundred pounds in adulthood. One evening, Howard found George in his garage, coiled up inside a car. Another time, he woke up to find the snake licking his face, wrapped around his arm. He just went back to sleep. He commissioned Animal Planet's show, Tank, to build a custom South American-themed habitat for Mickey and Minnie when they outgrew their current enclosure. He also expressed intentions to partner with the Black Jaguar White Tiger Foundation to fund the care of endangered big cats in Atlanta, Houston, and Orlando. This legend's knowledge of animal behavior was described by his own foundation director as practically encyclopedic. 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards, a Hall of Fame ring, 20 snakes. There was never a normal day. Eddie Murphy. April 3, 1961. Brooklyn, New York. Edward Reagan Murphy grew up in the Roosevelt neighborhood on Long Island after his parents divorced when he was 3. He discovered a talent for comedic impressions from a young age, performed at local venues as a teenager, and auditioned for Saturday Night Live at age 19. He got the job. His tenure from 1980 to 1984 revitalized a show that had lost its original cast and was struggling to maintain cultural relevance. 48 Hours, 1982, made him a movie star. Trading Places, 1983, helped him become a box office powerhouse. Beverly Hills Cop, 1984, produced on a $14 million budget, grossed $234 million worldwide and became the highest-grossing film that year in the United States. In a career spanning more than 4 decades, his films have grossed a combined total of over $6.7 billion at the global box office. He received the Screen Actors Guild Life Achievement Award in 2023. His 2022 film, Coming to America, drew 50 million viewers on Amazon Prime in its opening weekend. Amidst all those achievements, Eddie Murphy still keeps pot-bellied pigs. This breed, native to Vietnam, became popular as household pets in America beginning in the late 1980s after being introduced to the North American market. Pot-bellied pigs rank among the 4 most highly cognitive animals evaluated in scientific literature on problem solving, consistently outperforming dogs in standardized assessment scenarios. They can be trained to use a litter box, respond to their name from a distance, distinguish between family members and strangers, use and form emotional attachments characterized by grief responses when experiencing loss. Reportedly, Murphy developed a genuine interest in the species after researching their intelligence and finding that their temperament, calm, perceptive, and largely unaffected by external chaos, suited a constantly active household. Guests visiting his mansion during this time described the experience of encountering the animals mid-conversation as profoundly surreal. One of the wealthiest entertainers in Hollywood history, in a house designed for ultimate luxury, with pot-bellied pigs walking around with absolute confidence. Murphy wasn't acting. He simply liked them. For a man who has been famous since 1980, an animal inherently indifferent to fame might be the most valuable companion imaginable. From Mike Tyson's $325,000 a year tigers to Eddie Murphy's pot-bellied pigs roaming the living room of a $234 million grossing movie star, what these 12 stories share cuts deeper than shock value. Each story asks the same uncomfortable question. When does a passion for animals cross the line and become irresponsible behavior? Mike Tyson admitted his tigers deserved better. DMX's pit bulls paid a price he could never fully repay. Tyga's tiger Maverick is still eating, and Tyga still isn't paying for it. These are not cautionary tales about wealth. They are cautionary tales about power, responsibility, and what happens when fame erases all natural boundaries. So here is the question worth debating in the comments. Should celebrities face permanently stricter laws than ordinary citizens when it comes to owning exotic animals? Or does their wealth actually make them more capable of proper care? Leave your answers below. And if stories like this are what you're looking for, the hidden, verified, undistorted truth behind the biggest names in entertainment, then Hidden Celebrity Stories is the place for you. Hit subscribe. You will never run out of reasons to stay.